Trees.
What?
Yeah, the trees. Why did you leave the trees?
I didn't leave them. I created them here.
Oh. Why did you make them?
Why did I make the trees? So I was making a little. This is well, we can start here. So this is the base. This is the spot where all the stuff is stored. So I've got all the things you need, like rocket pack fuel and plates and bars and things, all this stuff. So this all gets stored in here. And I wanted to make it a nice little, I don't know, nice little mall, nice place to go.
What are those big ones on the sides?
The big trees?
No, the big fat boxes.
These are non-automated storage because you can only get this stuff by picking stuff up. So this is the natural blocks, like stone and dirt and things. And seeds. Although you can get seeds, we can go look at the seed factory at some point. And this is machines that don't have being manufactured at the moment. So just like storing extra machines for projects and stuff. And then let's go look at the seed factory. There's so many things, huh?
Yeah.
There's a seed factory over here.
What is that big green thing? Oh, are those greenhouses?
They are!
Greenhouse.
These are automated greenhouses. And they are currently growing rainforest tree seeds and rainforest plant seeds. And so I've got that set up in a little loop. Because these don't automatically reseed themselves, you have to like, load them up with seeds. Hello! So I've got that all set up, and I've got it all automated, so those just make lots and lots of seeds, which is how I got the seeds for the little mall thing over here. Let's see, this is oil. This is our oil production. You want to go see the oil fields?
Ooh, yeah.
Alright. This is my giant oil pipeline.
It kind of looks like the super speedy tubes from Satisfactory.
Yeah, the
Hypertubes?
the hypertubes.
Super hypertubes.
This is my oil pumper zone.
They look like hammers that are about to smash into each other.
Yeah, they do kind of. And I think I've got 0 crude. Oh, there's nothing left in this one. So I pumped that one dry. I'll have to take that down at some point. But that's okay. I've got at least 2 more. This one down here.
Whoa, that's really deep.
This one is also not working. 0 crude Olumite. Oh man. Pump that one dry. Well, that's okay. I got this one over here.
It's also dry.
Maybe. Maybe it's also dry. We'll find out. Are you trying to scooch down, baby? Where are you going? Where are you going? I have let this run for quite a while to just like in the background. These ones are working.
Yeah, those ones are working. Half of them, a few of them are.
Yeah. I think they produce more than I consume, so they're probably not at full capacity. But yeah, this has got 8 million. 8 million crude Olumite left.
Yeah, that's probably enough.
So they're pumping occasionally.
Hi, baby. Do you want some Pepsi?
So that's probably, oh, let's see, pull up the map. Yeah, that's as far afield as I've come here. I'm planning on building a Teluxite Vein here at some point.
Whoa, what is it? That looks pretty cool. What is that,
Technum.
I want to see the Technum.
Well, I haven't built anything here yet. It's just a vein. Do you know what the veins look like? I don't know if you've seen veins before.
I haven't seen the Technum stuff yet.
So it's a huge spiral thing. See how it's all spiraling down to the ground?
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of spots on the side. I've got a vein set up over here, the Teluxite. We'll look at that. It's the same kind of thing.
Oh, it's kind of just the blue sport, though.
Yeah. Mama.
Ma.
Yeah. You want to go see Mama?
Ma.
So
Mama.
here's the Teluxite ore vein.
That is really cool.
So I've got there's a fracking tower, and that keeps it productive even when you've mined out the vein miners. Let's see, these ones are probably still active. That probably haven't reached the core yet. So I've got these freight elevators that supply it, and then these are the ore miners. Yeah, these are the Teluxite. Yeah, so here we go. So you can see so you can see the ore miners are mining forward like this. And once they reach the core of the Teluxite building, then they stop. Unless you have a fracking tower hooked up to them. So each one of those, once it reaches the core, will draw, I think, 80 fracking fluid or something. So right now we're only using 374 liters per minute of fracking liquid.
I'm gonna guess you're getting a whole lot more than that.
We're producing enough for all of these. So this is a transport ship, a fluid transport ship, and it's transporting the fracking fluid from the main base over to here. And then there's another transport ship that's transporting the ore from here back over to the main base. So you can basically set these up anywhere on the map, and then they'll just transport stuff to and from, and they're kind of independent. I do have it hooked up to the main grid power, but you could set it up independently with its own batteries and solar panels and things if you wanted to. Let's see, where's the transformer for this? I think it's actually down here. So this guy is hooked up. Which one is this? I don't remember. I don't remember which one this is. This might just be here. It might just be one of these little tiny one-loader setups, because all you need is low voltage power for the loaders. You can't. I don't think you can set them up for high voltage power. Yeah. So you need low voltage power for the loaders, and you need the loaders for the elevators, and you need the elevators so that you don't use a whole bunch of ramps, because ramps are really, and also the elevators mine through the ground for you. So anyway, so that's what a Teluxite vein looks like. And you can see when you scan here, there's a vein there, there's a vein over there, and I've got almost all of those hooked up. I don't think I have the very lowest one on that side hooked up to a vein miner, but this is plenty.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So
what do you use Technum for?
Teluxium?
Yeah.
Technum is the copper equivalent. Teluxium is like silicon. So there's a mineral ore.
What do you use it for?
Miner. Use it for computer chips, microchips. There's my drone builder thing. So we'll go over here. I think is where the Teluxium is hooked up. This is the Teluxium port. And, oh, look at that! A ship just arrived. So the ships transport stuff into here, and that transports stuff into here. And I've got 4 belts that I'll pump out of that into this storage container. And the storage container is all full of stuff right now, but it outputs this guy. These guys chop it up into little pieces and put it here. This converts it, puts it into here. This converts it and puts it into here. This converts it and puts it into here. And these guys make microchips.
Cool.
So those make wafers and those make microchips. And you use the microchips over here for making Android heads.
Android heads.
Science robot heads.
What do you use those for?
Those go on the science robots.
Oh.
Take the heads and put them on the science robots. Uh-oh. Stopped. What are we waiting for?
More things.
Oh no, we were waiting for the ship to come and pick them up.
Oh.
Okay. Oh no. Legs, maybe? Looks like we're waiting on legs. So this is an assembly line. I'm not really super pleased with how the assembly line thing is all set up. It looks kind of cool, but it's really a pain to set up and takes up a lot of space. I haven't done the numbers on how much power it uses, but I could, because I've got a spreadsheet. we'll go take a look at the spreadsheet in a minute. So anyway, that takes the science robots. This is the only robot line that I've got set up, and all my other exports are materials and drones.
What do you use the science robots for?
You sell them.
Oh.
You sell them on the marketplace. So the same thing with the drones. So the larger game here is, so here's my drone factory with a whole bunch of little factories making drones. They look like that. And I've got them all sorted out to go to all their different pads, and the pads accumulate them and then send them into orbit. And then when they're in orbit, you can sell them. So you go over to the, let's see, finances, and we can see transport bots. We're making 3,500 an hour, and we're selling 3,000 an hour. And so there's our sales, and there's our products, and you can do that for all these guys and see we're producing all the stuff, and we've got plenty of supply.
How do you win?
How do you win? So, you can't really win. So here's the galaxy map. You start off with just your space station and the galactic market. You can sell stuff to the galactic market, and then you can unlock trade licenses to go to other planets and sell your bots and drones to planets. And then some of the higher level planets, like this one, I think. Yeah. Well, so that's minor robots. Where's my science robot? So here's one that I'm selling the science robots to. And then when you sell robots, you can capture the market, so you get a certain percentage of the market share. And when you capture a whole planet, in terms of sales, then you can capture the sector that it's in, and each of those gives you a small bonus to your sale price. So if you're the market leader on the planet, you get 5% extra, and if you're the market leader in the sector, you get 10% extra in those stack. So you sell your robots for a little bit extra money. And then you can go to Finances Competitors, and you can find out where you are on the competitor list. So here's all the different companies in the galaxy, and you can sell more than some guys and get more market dominance. So right now I'm at the top of the lower tier of the market dominance guys, just above Keel and Compass. And the next highest guy is about 8,000, and then there's like a kind of a tier that's about 8 up to 15,000, and then there's another one that's about 20 to 40,000, and then there's one that's 60,000.
Hey,
so
no.
You could ostensibly win by becoming the largest manufacturer in the galaxy.
Go. What do you want?
You can also win by clearing your debt. You start off with a debt of 5 million credits, and so you can clear your debt. So I cleared my debt a while ago. You could also win by becoming independent, energy independent or whatever. I don't know. You know, it's kind of an open-ended sandbox style game. So right now I'm manufacturing science robots and then all of the smaller drone style robots. And I guess the last thing I wanted to show off, I mean, most of this factory stuff is just standard factory stuff. I've got a smelting tower. There's a blast furnace for refining. Right now I've got it on plates. And you can also do one, I should set up one for rods as well, Techem rods. But right now I don't have one for Techem rods. And I should set up a power system, although I think in the next update they're going to have
Hey, baby, stop.
much larger power plants and things, so I should wait for that. But what I wanted to show off, last thing, is this little standalone factory. So I did a spreadsheet, and I'll show that off in a minute. But I did a spreadsheet of all the different things you can buy and sell from the galactic market. And it turns out that if you buy Technum rods from the galactic market and then convert them into wire and sell them back to the Technum market, to the galactic market. Oh, I wonder if I maxed out my... Oh, I'll have to fix that might not be shipping to the galactic market. But this is a standalone factory. It's got 4 solar panels, 2 big batteries, a little transformer, an elevator that ships stuff down underneath, and then over here is the interior of the factory. It's basically just 10 of these, or 12 of these things converting the rods into wire. And every one of those wires that you produce nets you, I think, 1 credit. And so this will do, I forget how many, well, let's see, 80 a minute times 12, so some thousands of credits per hour. And the nice thing about this is it's totally standalone, and you can just copy and paste this whole thing and build a bunch of them. And so that's kind of a cool system. And it scales because you don't have to build any infrastructure. You don't have to connect them to anything. They're totally self-powering, and they just make you money by shipping stuff up into space.
960 credits a minute.
960 credits a minute?
Yeah.
Nice. You did the math. 96. Yeah, 8 times 12 is 96.
The 0. 960.
There you go. 960. Well done. You learned something in school. Cool. So yeah, so each one of these is almost 1,000 credits a minute. And I forget how long a day is. But you need quite a few of these to make that. Oh, so let's look at the spreadsheet. So this is a spreadsheet I made of all the different drones you can make and all the different components that they require. And this is how I built my factory, because I grouped them together by common groups of 3 common, because you can have a 1, 2, and 3 wide loader. And so you can build these in rows with 1 on one side and 1 on the other, and then produce all of these off of a single set of belts. So it makes routing a lot easier. And then you can just copy them using the copy and paste mod, which is so good. And then, so anyway, so this is a spreadsheet with all the different components you need. And then this is the profit margin ratio. So this is the sell price, the base sell price. And this is the total component price, which is calculated off of all of these components, which is a lookup table for each of the components in the marketplace table, which is where I entered all the items on the marketplace and their prices and some other stats about them, all the stats basically about them. So this is all available. You can go and look them up. I'll put a link in the video description so you can look at this and copy it and use it for yourself. And then some of these you can't buy from the marketplace, so like robot parts you can't buy from the marketplace. And for those, I basically just use the batch price based on the price of all the components in order to calculate the effective price of those parts. I'm not using the power. I'm not counting power for that, but there is a power calculator, and that includes the loaders for the factories. And this is assuming you're using a level 1 factory for everything, because those are by far the most efficient. And so there's a thing for the crafting energy for each item, and so you can sort it by that if you want to find out how much it takes to do that step. Now it's just per step, so it doesn't add them all up, because it's not clear where you start. Baby, no screaming, no screaming. Thank you. Calm down, baby. Calm down. Calm down. Thank you, baby. But these are all the prices for all the different items. And it turns out that there's a margin for processing each one. And it's always larger than 0, which is nice. It's usually 1. So like for Teluxium ore, to convert ore rubble into ore, you get 1 credit per item profit, basically. Some of them you can't sell, so there's a profit of 0. I've just put it in a 0 to make it simpler to calculate. So like robot parts, you can't sell them on the marketplace. You can't buy them on the marketplace, so margin 0. Some of them is quite large. Teluxium wafers have a huge margin, and even when calculated per second, the margin per second is quite high. So you can sell Teluxium wafers at quite a high rate. And I think there's margin per joule. Yeah, margin per joule also extremely high for Teluxium wafers. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Construction materials are also really high. Problem with construction materials is it requires a lot of different materials to build, so it's not super convenient to build a factory that makes them. But one thing that has a very high margin per joule is wire coils. And unlike CPUs and stuff, they don't require anything expensive, and that's why I built that little factory, the wire coil factory that imports. It just has one component that you need to import, one component that you need to export. And so actually I could just do two little ones here. 0 here. Makes the margin even higher. So margin per joule is it's pretty good. So wire coils are the cool way to make a bunch of money quick with simple factories, and you can just copy paste the factories and cover the landscape with them. So anyway, this is a nice way of calculating how much profit you're actually making from your stuff. One of the weird things about the drones, though, is that the margin, profit margin, is almost the same for all of them. Maintenance drones are a little low. Transport bots are the highest of any of them, and they're all kind of about 1.5, 1.6, somewhere around there. So there's not really a huge incentive to go and sell the high complexity drones like the science assistant bot or the mining drone or things like that. They're complex to set up. They require a lot of chain and supply chain, and the transport bot is actually the highest margin of all the bots, and it only requires 3 different materials. And they're all pretty basic. They just require xenoferrite plates, electric components, and machine parts. And you can buy all of those off of the marketplace, so you literally could build a factory that just builds transport bots, imports them all from space, builds them, exports them back to space. You don't need a factory, you don't need mining, you don't need any of that stuff. So that's kind of cool. For some of them, like the Fermilite, anything that requires Fermilite sheets, you do need to have a factory because you can't buy them, and you have to build a shaft down to the lava level in order to convert Fermilite into Fermilite sheets. So if you want to do any of the higher tier stuff, you can, but there's no reason to do that. There's no reason to do that unless you want to play the market dominance game. If you don't want to play the market dominance game, then just build transport drones and just go and sell to everyone who wants transport drones. Build a bunch of independent factories like I did with the wire thing. Oh, so one last thing. I'm using the blueprint mod, and it is so good. I started using it near the end game, and I wish I had it from the very beginning because it's so convenient, so great. It doesn't let you cheat. You just can do all the stuff you'd normally be able to do, except way faster. So yeah, blueprint mod is really cool. And let's see, is there anything else? Finances, spaceships. It would be nice if there was a way to assign spaceships more quickly, but because you end up with a lot of different supply ship routes and a lot of different traders and stuff. Oh yeah, I was going to go set up a galactic market thing to sell the wire. I've got it. Sell if above 1,000. There we go. Now it's sold some. So I don't know why. Because it was at 22, so it was above 11,000, but it didn't sell them. Anyway, now it's sold a bunch. We're making 38,000 Fermilite. And we're nearing our Fermilite limit again. Anyway. So, and now it should send a ship down to pick up that Fermilite. In fact, it already did. There's the ship there. There we go. So that now the whole factory's working. And that's Foundry. So maybe I'll make another video, a Let's Play or whatever. But for now, that's where we're at with Foundry. This is my solar plant. I used to have a generator plant, but it was not... It ran out of fuel, and I didn't want to keep it fueled, so I just tore it all down and built solar panels instead. Oh, I wanted to show off this. So this system, the way that this works to keep all this stocked is really cool, and I think people would like to see this. So this uses the data cables, and each of these data cables is hooked up. So the whole data cable system is all hooked up to one data cable system, and it's hooked up to all of these storage units. And underneath here, I've got sorter loaders, and those are all on one big belt system, and it all feeds into that one thing. And then down here, I've got my whole spaghetti factory, and on each of the parts that I want to keep stocked, I have data cable running to the appropriate item, and here, I'll left mouse button. If the quantity in the storage is less than 600, then enabled. So, and then that way I don't have to make 20 different belts all feeding up into here. I just make one belt system that all feeds up into the same loop, and then the items all get sorted out into their respective boxes automatically. And the reason I've got 600 instead of some larger or smaller number is that that will fill up half of one of these storage units, and then there will be a little bit extra. So you see there's like 5 here. So if I pull 5 out, I don't need more wire coils, but if I pull 5 out, then you can see, oh, they immediately start loading back in, and then they stop. Once it's loaded in, then it doesn't load anymore. So it gets a little bit extra because there's the material that's still on the belts, but not a huge amount extra. And that works super well. I'm really happy with how that system all functions. And that way, this whole thing can stay stocked, and I can have all my stuff spread all over the place however I had it set up initially. Like I had to set up this factory here for building level 5 belts. I didn't have one yet, so I just set it up over here wherever it was convenient to get the items from the different belts and things. And then I've got the loader, and it's just set up. If you've got less than 600 belts, enable this loader, and it just works. So I'm happy with how that thing works. It's really simple to set up, and I hope you guys find some use for it for this stocking system. So, and I've got one extra here that I didn't set up just because I set them up in pairs. I copy and pasted this whole thing to set them up in pairs, so that is for future, I guess. Or maybe I'll hook up, I don't know, CPUs or something at some point. But it's really nice to have a central storage unit and also not have to build everything from the beginning in a sensible way. I think next time, if I were to do this again, I would put this lower down, because right now it's above where I could put a bunch of platforms. Although these platforms way up here are really convenient, because then the ships don't have to come down as far from orbit, which actually makes a big difference. So I've got my, what is it, Fermilite, and I think this is oil? This is oil export? No, spaceship fuel. Spaceship fuel export up here. And then once those fill up, they'll send a big ship down. So once you get the elevators, it's basically free to build a super tall elevator. So I would suggest doing that, building all your platforms super high up, and then just use elevators to go up and down to load and unload them. There's no reason to have them low down. Well, so once you have elevators and you have the jetpack, because otherwise it's a real pain to get up there. Even with the elevator, even with the personal elevator, it takes a long time. So jetpack is definitely a must-have for that stuff. Nope, can't stay on. Oh well. So that's my factory. I might do a let's play or something at some point, but I just wanted to show off like how I've got this set up, how the inventory, the stocking system works. I'm really happy with that, and the standalone factory I think makes a lot of sense, and also the spreadsheet of all the different items and profit margins and things. so you can make an informed decision about how all of that you want to set that up for your base. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I'm Paul Spooner. Talk to you later.